How about 18 months 0% interest? Offer good for a limited time only. Just park your husband at the recliners and enjoy the huge selection on everything else. Furniture Row Outlet. Good stuff for a great deal less. Next to Fred Meyer's.
What Ann said about Ellen and Jennifer versus Mariah. Next DT.
President Bush faces tough new facts of life. From budget battles to stem cell controversies, Bush plans come in for sharp questioning across the Capitol. Americans on trial in Afghanistan. An anxious mother rushes trying to save her daughter. Frightened school children caught in the middle of grown-up violence in Northern Ireland. And Eye on America. The amazing ingenuity of illegals desperate for a better life in the USA.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Now comes the hard part. In the showdown between President Bush and his Democratic opposition in Congress over budget priorities, who blew the surplus, and who's to blame for the sluggish economy and threats to Social Security and Medicare. The two sides drew sharper lines today for their fall offensive. It's a multi-front battle over spending on everything from education to defense to prescription drug coverage for seniors. And that's just for starters. Our coverage begins with CBS News White House correspondent John Roberts.
Not satisfied with their summer-long attack on George Bush for squandering the surplus, Democrats returned to Washington today and turned it up a notch, blaming the whole economic downturn on President Bush's budget and the tax cut.
I believe with all my heart that what is starting to hurt our economic performance is the projections that the financial markets are already making about where we're headed on deficits.
Republicans, who could be decimated in next year's midterm elections if the claim sticks, rushed to play defense today, pointing out the economy began to go south on Bill Clinton's watch.
The economic situation is not caused by anything the president has done. We've asked the experts about that. They say he's done nothing that had an impact on this.
With the economy now voters' top priority, both sides are in a dogfight to own this critical issue. Democrats again hammered President Bush to submit a new budget.
Now, his staff has said that he will focus like a laser beam on the economy. But so far, the laser beam from the other end of Pennsylvania Avenue has only succeeded in vaporizing the surplus.
But today, the president's budget director told a House committee there's plenty of money to pay for Mr. Bush's priorities if only Democrats would rein in their spending ways.
Confirm that the budget of the United States and the fiscal condition of the federal government is in excellent shape.
Democrats who today claim to have not spent a penny that the president hasn't asked them to said that Mr. Bush faces three choices. He can dip into Social Security, cut spending, or roll back his tax cut. The Democrats shied away from any suggestion that they might seek to roll that tax cut back. With an election year looming, no one wants to be accused of raising taxes. Dan?
John Roberts at the White House. Likewise, no one wants to be blamed for hurting U.S. military readiness. That was part of the context for the congressional debate today about defense spending and strategy, as CBS News national security correspondent David Martin reports.
What the Bush administration advertises as the largest increase in defense spending since the Reagan years ran smack into the vanishing surplus today as a key member of the Senate Appropriations Committee reviewed the latest economic estimates.
A slumping economy, a large tax cut have eliminated all the available funds.
Defense Secretary Rumsfeld is asking for an $18 billion increase in the Pentagon budget for 2002. Money, he says, is needed to make up for the neglect of the Clinton years.
And, Mr. Chairman, we need every nickel of it. The budget request does not solve the problems of the department. It begins to repair the damage that's been done by a long period of underfunding and overuse.
And you're saying every nickel is needed, but you can tell from the question that everybody's not going to vote for every nickel.
The Bush administration came into office vowing to transform the armed services. But so far, it looks very much like the same old military with the same old strategy and the same old complaints about too many missions and not enough money.
According to a document signed by Secretary Rumsfeld, the military will be required to swiftly defeat aggression in any two critical areas, the Persian Gulf and Korea, for instance, as well as carry out peacekeeping operations in places like Bosnia and Kosovo, and do it with a force exactly the same size as the one which exists today. The Air Force alone estimates it will need another $17 billion increase in spending to carry out Rumsfeld's defense planning guidance.
All told, military officers say they will require another $40 to $50 billion increase in spending, which is exactly what they were saying at the end of the Clinton administration. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
As for President Bush's policy on federal funding for research involving stem cells taken from human embryos, that debate today went far beyond the issue of how much to spend. CBS News chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer is tracking that still developing story.
2 days into a fall session where Democrats in the White House are already at odds on dozens of issues, Congress waded into the scariest territory yet, science.
Nothing's more frightening to me than Congress trying to be a scientist.
At issue is what to do about stem cell research, the tiny cells that scientists say could provide miracle cures for everything from Parkinson's disease to diabetes. The problem is many religious conservatives oppose such research, so the president limited federally backed research only to cells already created in previous experiments. But will that be enough?
President Bush has opened the door to government funding for this important area of health research. The question before the Congress is whether the door is open wide enough.
No, said a Rhode Island congressman who believes the cells may be used someday to repair the kind of spinal injury that left him a quadriplegic.
I am frustrated with the discovery of just how little room it leaves for medical advancement.
The administration point man admitted there won't be as many cells available for research as the White House first said, but argued there are plenty to get started.
We need to move beyond the back and forth over the numbers and get to actual work and doing the basic research on the science.
This controversy does not break on party lines. The president's main critic is a leading Republican who says the president's plan simply does not make enough cell lines available.
It has become apparent that many of the lines cited are not really viable or robust or usable.
Specter and the scientific community want a much larger and more aggressive research program, but with the president and some Republicans so sensitive to criticism from the religious right, it's just not clear yet where Congress will come down on any of this. Dan?
Bob Schieffer on Capitol Hill. Afghanistan's chief judge said today the 3-day-old trial of 8 foreign aid workers is, and I quote, moving fast, but he wouldn't say how long it might last. The aid workers, including 2 American women, are accused of preaching the Christian gospel. And as CBS's Byron Pitts reports, their families are struggling with a deep sense of dread.
This morning in upstate New York, Deborah Oddie packed her bags, then took her daughter's picture and her family's prayers to Afghanistan.
What will you say to her when you see her?
Thank heaven, thank God. I'm glad you're here.
I really miss you guys. I love you so much.
24-year-old Heather Mercer, seen here in this home video from her apartment in Afghanistan. She and her American roommate, 29-year-old Dana Curry, 2 of 8 foreign aid workers and 16 Afghans, on trial for allegedly preaching Christianity in a Muslim-only nation.
I'm very fearful. I have to tell you that. I am very fearful. She's my child. I don't know what the outcome will be.
Here in Lewiston, New York, where friends and family have lined Main Street with yellow ribbons, people are hopeful Heather Mercer will return home and soon. But hope is a hard word to come by in the hardline world of the Taliban. The Taliban government, the same militant Islamic regime that refuses to turn over terrorist Osama bin Laden to the U.S. Women are required to cover their entire bodies. All Western music is banned. Recently, the government blew up 2 centuries-old Buddhist statues, claiming they were idols of infidels. And here, preaching Christianity is a crime. Investigators for the Taliban claim they found Bibles and Christian literature translated in Arabic. The punishment, prison and expulsion for foreigners, the death penalty for Afghans. Still, Deborah Oddie keeps hoping.
You want to see her?
Absolutely.
Talk to her?
Absolutely.
Touch her?
Yes. Yes.
Tell her what?
That I love her. And it's time to come home.
But for now, home is simply a suitcase filled with hope. Byron Pitts, CBS News, Buffalo.
Religious intolerance was also on display again today in Northern Ireland, where school children are caught on the Catholic-Protestant battle line, and a 3-year peacemaking effort is near collapse. As Tom Fenton reports, even some hardliners are denouncing this latest show of hatred on the streets of North Belfast.
For the third day, Catholic children ran a gauntlet of stones and abuse through a Protestant neighborhood just to get to school. Hundreds of police and soldiers held back the taunting Protestant demonstrators. And just when they thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. A bomb was thrown. Terrified parents and children, some of them only in kindergarten and first grade, panicked and ran shrieking for the Holy Cross School. 4 policemen were injured, but miraculously, none of the children were hurt.
That was attempted murder of young babies and mothers going to school this morning.
It's not just that Northern Ireland's carefully constructed and fragile peace agreement is falling apart. It's almost as if it never happened at all. People here seem to have learned nothing from 30 years of terror. Today's escalation of violence was even too much for some hardline Protestant loyalists.
I'm sick to my stomach, and I'm ashamed to even say that I'm a loyalist.
But an illegal Protestant paramilitary group, the Red Hand Defenders, did claim responsibility for the bomb.
This is not about children going to school any longer. This is about people who are hell-bent on creating trouble.
And a new generation of children are being taught a lesson in bigotry and hate. Many people here hoped that Northern Ireland had moved beyond such things. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Belfast.
The U.S. Navy today awarded 107 medals to the crew of the destroyer USS Cole, heavily damaged by suicide bombers last year in Yemen. More than half the medals are Purple Hearts for the 17 sailors killed and 39 injured. Other medals went to those who kept the Cole afloat, including the Legion of Merit to the captain, Commander Kirk Lippold. CBS Next, Eye on America. Illegal immigrants desperate to cross the border, and why they're harder and harder to catch.
The CBS Evening News and tonight's Eye on America segment are sponsored by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Relax, we got supplemental insurance.
What are you talking about?
If we get injured and miss work, we're covered for things like lost pay and other expenses with this.
With what?
Plus, they pay you cash. Great, huh?
Who does?
Aflac. Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Is it the 10? The 5? Fumble!
Get your hands on new Game Day Cheez-It crackers. Football shapes for football fans.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cocked your head to the sides and I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me, saying get back together, come back and see me. Yesterday you'd forgiven me, but it'll still be 2 days till I say I'm sorry.
What are you doing?
Laundry.
Laundry?
But I'm glad you're up. I've been waiting to vacuum. Breakfast. I'll pick up your tray when I get back from the market.
But it's Sunday. Aren't you going to lay around and watch football all day?
Not if I'm going to finish that roast in time for dinner.
Somebody had their Minute Maid this morning. It only takes a minute, but the feeling lasts all day.
Honey, what's the setting for chiffon?
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but the pain comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may think you know about acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
Now the makers of Prilosec introduced their new purple pill, Nexium. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with the new purple pill called Nexium.
President Bush is hosting his first formal state dinner tonight, honoring Mexico's President Vicente Fox. Fox was welcomed to the White House with full pomp and ceremony, and he called on Mr. Bush publicly to work out some new way for dealing with illegal immigration by the end of this year. That apparently caught President Bush and his aides by surprise. They're said to be skeptical that that can be accomplished, especially on that timeline, and especially because of the growing sophistication of the smugglers, as Bill Whitaker reports in tonight's Eye on America.
U.S. border agents stop a car running the border. Agents draw their guns, make an arrest. The reason he was running? There in his trunk. He was trying to smuggle 2 women into the United States. Over the next few hours, agents saw this again and again and again. And they called this a slow night.
Do you see this all the time?
Yes, unfortunately, and more frequently now.
Adele Fasano is the Immigration and Naturalization Service Director in San Diego.
We intercept about 20 to 30 a day of these vehicles.
20 to 30 a day?
Yes.
With tighter border controls making old-style fence climbing almost futile, and with migrants losing their lives crossing deserts and rivers, smugglers are devising the most incredible ways imaginable to sneak people across the border. Under seats, behind seats. This man was a seat. Look like a dashboard? Look again. It was a berth for a 12-year-old boy. These INS photos show there's no place too small, too inaccessible, too dangerous. Even agents who've seen it all can't believe their eyes.
Heat under a hood can get up to 250 degrees. So you're talking...
So you have 2 people in here with right next to the engine.
Exactly. It's just amazing that we haven't found someone dead.
Incredibly, these people, 5 in all,
Watch your head. Don't let them hit the jack.
survived packed on flimsy platforms under this truck, just inches above the road.
Take her over there.
These women, who wished to have their identities concealed, survived a similar death-defying ride.
The van was going very fast. We just tried to hold on. We were afraid we'd slip and be crushed against the wheel.
Now the INS is seeing something else amazing at the border. Illegal immigrants from around the world are following the lead of Mexican migrants and making this a global gateway to the American dream. People from Asia, Africa,
Jamaica, Belarus, Dominican Republic,
India are flocking to Mexico to be smuggled across the border. The unlucky ones end up in detention centers like this one in Mexico City, or abandoned like these Iraqis in a Tijuana hotel. They were finally granted asylum in the U.S., but thousands more successfully sneak in.
Mexicans have been doing this for now a century. Most of the world knows this. They've pioneered the routes. They have the organizations.
Which charge thousands. One man from China paid $70,000 to get into the U.S.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide. The same methods that historically the drug traffickers use are now being incorporated into the people trafficking business.
I believe there's 2 Chinese in this.
Agents are finding more astounding hiding places and more non-Mexicans trying to cross near San Diego every year. With 45,000 cars crossing every day, agents know they can't spot them all.
Going back.
And people seeking to enter the U.S. illegally from around the world know it too. For Eye on America, this is Bill Whitaker at the port of San Isidro.
On the CBS Market Watch, the government says worker productivity in the second quarter was not growing quite as rapidly as it first appeared. It reduced the number today from 2.5% to 2.1%, still considered a solid gain given the overall sluggishness of the economy. On Wall Street, stocks closed mixed today. The Dow gained 35 points, the Nasdaq lost 11.
Big-time casino gambling is coming to your computer. Las Vegas is cashing in on the action. But no matter how you roll the dice, when the chips are down, online betting could cost you everything you own.
I lost a couple $1,000s the first night.
Eye on America, tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Dear Relieve,
Arthritis pain made it hard to run my business. Even a knee operation didn't stop all the pain. Extra strength Tylenol quit after a few hours, and the grinding pain returned. Then one of my customers reminded me how great Aleve works. I tried it, and now I'm pain-free all day.
2 Aleve can stop pain all day. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
You work miracles. Thanks, Aleve.
Aleve is the #1 pharmacist recommendation for arthritis pain, now with an easy open cap.
The Heartburn Hotel. If you suffer persistent heartburn 2 days a week or more, despite diet change and treatment, it may be acid reflux disease. Prescription Prevacid can mean 24-hour relief from acid reflux disease. Prevacid turns off tiny pumps that produce acid. It has a low occurrence of side effects, such as diarrhea, abdominal pain, and nausea. Ask your doctor if Prevacid is right for you.
So leave your heartburn behind. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cock your head to the sides and I'm angry. 5 days since you laughed at me, saying get back together, come back and see me. Yesterday you'd forgiven me, but it'll still be 2 days till I say I'm sorry.
You go first. Don't make me. I think you should.
Being first is never easy. Will I make it? Will I be laughed at? Will it be worth it?
Not only can we handle more of these stains than this leading powder, Whisk tablets can handle more grass stains, too. Whisk tablets, anyone?
Life is like a sport. The impact of each step impacts more than just your feet. But new Stride Guard insoles absorb 50% more heel impact than these Dr. Scholl's. Take more impact in stride. New Stride Guard insoles.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are odor-absorbing crystals in new Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Whatever.
New Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Terry Nichols is going on trial again for the Oklahoma City bombing mass murders. He's already serving a federal life term for conspiracy and involuntary manslaughter. Today, an Oklahoma prosecutor decided to try him on state murder charges as insurance against the federal conviction being overturned. Bob McNamara reports Nichols could face the same fate as the bombing mastermind.
Damned if he did and damned if he didn't prosecute, Oklahoma City's District Attorney Wes Lane said his duty was making Terry Nichols accountable to Oklahoma.
With that in mind, I have decided that the state of Oklahoma will proceed with the prosecution of Terry Lynn Nichols.
That's right. With Nichols facing the death penalty if convicted here, his defense attorney wrote a Tulsa newspaper saying Nichols would give up all pending federal appeals and accept his federal life prison sentence if the state dropped its case. But there's no deal.
I will not roll the dice on this issue. There's simply too much at stake.
Though Tim McVeigh was convicted and executed for the bombing, the fact that Terry Nichols got life in prison for aiding McVeigh has always angered many who say Nichols is just as guilty.
I think in the sense of justice, I think I'm willing to put on my armor again and do battle just one more time for the sake of my daughter and my in-laws. 3. Oh, boy.
But 6 years and 17 surgeries out from the bombing, recovering survivor Patty Hall doesn't want to revisit all the death and detail of another trial.
6. I think enough has been spent on this trial. Enough money, enough emotion. It's cost more than just dollars and cents in this.
For months now, Nichols has been held in a jail here in the shadows of the Oklahoma City bombing memorial while awaiting trial. A trial that's now expected to cost millions and take months. And while the prosecutor here says Nichols can get a fair trial in Oklahoma, finding an impartial jury may be the toughest test of all. Bob McNamara, CBS News, Oklahoma City.
On the CBS Weather Watch, a tornado in Texas. The powerful storm in the Dallas suburb of Carrollton shredded rooftops and treetops this afternoon. It caused a lot of worry to parents, but no injuries to the children at the local elementary school.
When I started having hot flashes and night sweats at menopause, my doctor recommended hormone replacement therapy, but I didn't listen.
Up to 20% of a woman's expected lifetime bone loss occurs in the years following menopause.
A year later, I went back to my doctor and found I'd shrunk an inch. I went on HRT, and I've been on it for years. My hot flashes and night sweats, gone. I feel great.
HRT is not for all women. Talk to your doctor about the benefits and risks.
The time to protect your future is now.
9 Lives introduces something completely new. What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa!
New? What's new? I hope she knows.
Look, Morris, it's new 9 Lives gourmet meals.
Pussycat, I love you. And new 9 Lives shows you do.
Introducing new 9 Lives gourmet meals. More gourmet meat for more gourmet taste.
Pussycat, I love you. They all love me.
New 9 Lives gourmet meals. More gourmet meat for more gourmet taste.
For cool cats like moi.
Enter a new era of discovery at Bristol-Myers Squibb, where groundbreaking genetic research is underway.
Winning the Tour de France was a victory for cancer medicines. But Luke, it's just the start of incredible things to come.
At the Bristol-Myers Squibb Center for Applied Genomics, researchers strive to unlock the secrets of breast cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes to lead the way in new frontiers against disease.
Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol-Myers Squibb Company.
Worried about unexpected bills or mounting credit card debt? Log on to Ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED and apply for a second mortgage with Ditech's no closing cost option. With a second mortgage, you may be able to consolidate your high-interest debts into one low monthly payment. It's smart money from Ditech.com. Apply online or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED right now.
Lots of places offer upgrades. Usually you spend a little more, you get a little more. But in Gateway Country, it's different. You get a lot more. And right now, it's free. When you buy a Gateway Essential 950C featuring the Intel Celeron processor, you get an extra large monitor plus a CD burner. That's 2 big upgrades, all for just $7.99. Now, who could beat that? Who'd even try? Offer ends September 9th, so stop by or call today.
Kids were ready to head back to school, so why weren't some of the facilities ready? At 6, problems continue with some Portland schools.
In our evening news endnotes, history and science, old and new. First stop, Washington's Air and Space Museum. The fuselage of the Enola Gay, the World War II U.S. bomber that dropped the first atom bomb on Hiroshima, was put on a flatbed truck bound for storage before then heading to a new museum in Virginia. Another piece of aviation history on the move, kicking off a tribute to pilot pioneer Amelia Earhart. Carlene Mendieta took off from suburban New York in this 1927 Avro. Yes, the thing still flies. She's reenacting Earhart's record-breaking 23-city cross-country trip flown 73 years ago. And Texas A&M researchers say this is the first animal cloning trifecta. Meet the new carbon copies of a goat, some cattle, and this little piggy is one of 5 piglet clones. In Aggieland, Animal Farm meets Brave New World, which is part of our world tonight. I'll be back right after the premiere of The Amazing Race later this evening with a special Wednesday edition of 48 Hours. Susan Spencer has a preview.
Hollywood made this feisty crusader a household name.
It's an honor to present to you Erin
Brockovich, B-R-O. But now she's facing a fight she never could have imagined. Silent Killers, tonight on 48 Hours.
48 Hours tonight at 10, 9 Central. We invite you to join us then and right here tomorrow for the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. See you soon on 48 Hours.
Top of the hour, time for a quick check.